ChandraSangat, how are you?
What is going on, Devin?
Well, we
Reverend
started a program
Devin.
and we're talking about dream stuff. It's kind of been migrating over into dreams, hasn't it?
Yeah, it really has. I like the way it's been working out. I mean,
As we intended, and for everybody new to this program, about astral projection and out of body experiences and discussion with all that, and dream travel. Yes, and somewhat meeting out of time. And it's pretty exciting to think about the ideas of actually getting together within our dreams or the astral plane in one way or another. It's pretty exciting. But we have a full moon today, I guess officially this morning.
that's right. And I wonder if anyone made it to Stonehenge.
Well, I had an interesting dream that I can't say had it very much stagnity about it. It was very random, including like pixie dust and giving me breasts and all this stuff. It was definitely interesting.
Wow. Okay.
That's something I
I
remember.
I
Like,
I
was,
mean, like, did you look down and then have breasts?
yeah, I was like,
Okay.
I haven't seen it like that before. That
Oh,
was
wow.
like definitely double D's too.
Oh, wow. Hello.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's interesting,
yeah,
to say the
definitely.
least.
I think I ate the pixie dust too. That's
Oh, wow. Oh my God. You're totally drinking the Kool-Aid over there.
definitely something.
You ate the pixie dust. I don't even know where to begin. I think your dreams are so out there. I mean, because you basically just you make the dream rules when you're in your dreams. So then
Yeah,
there's no
it was,
interpreting to be had. It's more of like, oh yeah, I think this is what I wanted to do with that.
I can admit that there is definitely a curiosity about what it would be like to have some of those. But on the male perspective, of course.
On the
Jeez.
male perspective. I mean, I like looking at my boobs too.
Well, um,
From the male perspective. Does that relate to the rickety walls at all? I don't
yeah, I don't know. Stability is a little
know.
wavering, shaking, maybe. Uh, that's all good. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, everybody's, naturally, we're all innate, built in our system to be attracted to the nipple for feeding purposes. So,
that's true.
weird direction of conversation, but
But getting back to your dream, I wonder, I what I was thinking when you first said that was your mothering and like how you've been, taking care of the kids a lot. So
yeah, hey,
it's like a nurturing thing.
that's impressive. That's a good idea. Yeah, I definitely feel, and I say how I'm the stay at home, and my wife works, and we do have a lot of interchanging of the roles,
Mm-hmm.
in many different ways. As it's as much as to me, it's just I'm being what I'm being, and I'm not too concerned about it. But yeah, I definitely take a position of being the mother, in that way. I, yeah, and I enjoy it. Yeah. somewhat of a embracing of that. So yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Eating the pixie dust, though.
Yeah, it's a little vague, a little confusing what happened before that. I feel like I was in some sort of stall, uh, like a bathroom stall, but not with a toilet, and somebody else did something with it, and
Hmm.
yeah, it was anyway. It's a little confusing, but yeah, definitely. I like that connection you made. Somewhat I feel like, if anything, it would be. I wish I could embrace my maternal instincts more so, or even better. So if it was a wish out of that, aside from actually physically having breasts and enjoying that,
And being able to play with them all day long.
and being a man still have to actually want to enjoy that, right? Anyway, yeah, definitely. I wish I could be a better parent as far as that, and I think it would help to be
Oh,
a better
that's
parent. Not necessarily
fascinating.
have the boobs, but just to be a
Yes,
better,
I.
more embracing of the maternal
Hmm.
instincts.
That's interesting. The other day, last night, I had a very interesting dream, which I only remember one aspect. I remember waking up saying, it's gonna happen on November 16th.
Oh crap!
I know, right? And I was like, what? And then in my like coming out of the dream and waking even more, and then it was like it turned into November 16th or 17th. For whatever reason, it was so weird. And then I was like fully awake and realized I don't know what the hell that is, but I thought it was super cool.
You don't remember what it's talking about? It's this Saturday. Oh, I
No
need my
idea.
supplies
No
ready.
idea.
Where's my end of the world stuff?
No, it was like so clear. Like the words in sound and in writing. Like heard them and I saw them fully written out. November and 1/6.
So that is 11, 16, 19.
I guess. Could be any 11/16, right? I mean, I could have been going back in time. Who knows?
Oh man.
What happened on November 16th
Uh,
historically? We should Google it. Maybe something happened on that day.
Googling my breasts. Anyway, googly over them.
Googly. Googly googly. Yeah, it was
Story.
um
The other one.
for me one of the first times that I've experienced uh that clarity as far as like I knew it as a message. I heard it as a message because I woke up and I was like, I need to remember this. This is important. But what was very interesting, 2 weeks ago, I had a very similar dream, and I woke up and I knew that Julia was in my dream, my daughter. And when I woke up, I remembered thinking, I need to remember this. This is important that she was in my dream.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just looked it up, and
Okay.
first thing that stood out to me was during Germany was destroyed in World War II today by bombers, Allied bombers.
Wow.
LSD is first synthesized
What?
today. Yeah, in 1938. Well, World War II was
Today or on the 16th?
1944. Uh, on the 16th, I looked at
Okay.
November 16th. You can Wikipedia November 16th, and it gives.
Oh my God.
Uh, yeah. What else?
LSD, there we go. Shit, maybe somebody came in from that time into my dream.
That's what that pixie dust was.
Shit, I mean, I don't know, you know. We are trying to go into a place together. Maybe we're better at it than we thought. Maybe we met when they made LSD and you ate it and then grew boobs. And all I remembered was the date.
Here it says November 16th, Stonehenge was put up. Huh?
No.
Maybe.
I mean, shit, you could be right. Uh, oh my gosh.
Yeah, there's a lot of birthdays too.
Hmm.
Not recognizing a whole lot of names, but I'm not too great with names of famous people anyway. I guess, wow, it starts back in 42 BC. Oh,
Whoa.
Tiberius, Roman Empire, was born today, oh, yeah, on the 16th. So,
Oh, wow. The Roman Empire.
oh, Leonardo Lorand. Lorandon? Lorandon. Lorandon? Is that Leonardo the artist? 1436? Wow.
Oh, yeah, I think you're right.
Let's go to the more modern days. Uh, there's Mason Raspberry. Anyway. Oh, it's my birthday. What the hell? No, I'm like a total jokester today, I guess. Too.
That's hilarious, Devin. If I didn't know you were Pisces, I would have felt like shit for not knowing that it was your birthday. For a quick second, you almost had me.
Does that come up in conversation? I know you talk about this, like
What?
your coworkers and stuff, or something. Like, yeah, I'm doing this dream thing, and this guy Devin, he's a Pisces. So, does it ever
Does
come?
it come up? I think it comes up if it comes up. Like if we're talking about astrology, then I might mention other people's signs, but it's because it's also how I logically like it's part of my association. So this is how I remember people's names is
Yeah,
like, oh, Devin the Pisces and like,
like Jesus the Pisces.
Jesus, but he was a Capricorn.
No, Christmas is Capricorn.
Yeah, but he was born
Oh, yeah,
that day, no?
I guess
No?
everybody believes in
Isn't
him.
that supposedly the day he was born?
Yeah, well,
Didn't he die and resurrect in Aries season? Actually, it makes sense that he would resurrect in Aries
there's a lot.
because it would be the first sign. So it's like the new beginning. No?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't.
I'm making shit up. Like I'm actually trying to understand where you're coming from.
I got some pretty extreme ideas about Jesus and all this stuff. So,
What?
as much as I can't avoid it now, but
It's all good. We can segue.
get into it. Oh, look, Jesus' birthday is on November 16th. This other guy, Jesus, don't say color. That's an attempt on a segue. Not working.
Oh my god. It's hilarious.
So,
Oh,
what do you think is happening on that day?
I don't know.
I get some pretty clear things on dreams sometimes. As far as that, like I have this tattoo on my face.
Mhm.
It's very clear in a dream, and yeah, it's just very when vivid things happen, guides you in so different ways to help make decisions. It's pretty intense. Some people define a shaman as someone that follows their dreams, even though I would
Hmm.
say there's a lot more to it.
Hmm.
But
A
yeah,
dream follower. I there are so many levels that are true to that. I mean, you can go so many directions with that. Someone who follows the dream world, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
in so many ways. In the things that I was just listening to an Abraham Hicks podcast or whatever YouTube, and it talked about people who follow their dreams and how they're from the standpoint of the law of attraction, it's talking about following your dreams, hoorah type of thing, right? But I loved listening to it and looking at it from all the perspectives, right? And it was interesting because it said people who follow their dreams are the ones who are more able to manifest all the amazingness. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I
Yeah,
think
like dreams of achieving goals type thing.
that was what that was talking about. But I heard that in many different ways. I
Yeah.
heard that statement.
Well, being passionate about things, I mean, and fully emotionally involved in it, and that essentially is why you have sleeping dreams. I mean, because you're invested in specific things anyway. So as it comes vivid and clear and feels like in a sleeping dream telling you to do something or you feel really inspired by it, it is in the same way essentially a goal that's coming from the core of your being, and you're hearing it, you're seeing it, and you're making it happen.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's kind of what I was hearing when I was listening to this particular video or audio. But
I
then
think,
the other thing that I thought about, that I just thought about, is that for a very long time, I haven't had dreams where I feel intense emotions. My dreams have been interestingly a little bit surface level.
yeah,
I've had very vivid visual dreams, visually vivid, very colorful.
yeah,
But I used to have much more intense emotional dreams. I would wake up and still be in a very intense, deep
yeah,
state of whatever the emotion was when the dream ended or
yeah,
whatever you want to call it.
yeah. It's kind of been a while for me. I remember that one a little while back about my wife telling me she was pregnant with someone else's baby or something. That was
Oh my
pretty,
gosh,
that was
yeah.
emotional for like 2 seconds at the very end, and it kind of thrusts you out. Yeah, I guess the breast thing was a little emotional, but not in the
A
same.
different kind of sensation, emotional response.
But I think the last very vivid audible voice through a dream I had, specifically through a dream, not just guidance, was it was like that we were in this made kind of cave, like Mayan type cave thing, where it's made out of brick, stone around. It had this cave feeling to it, and an earthquake started, and there was several people, and the floods started coming up. It was like rising water, and then this big block comes down, like 20 feet tall, pretty big, and it starts carving itself into this figurine, large figure, and it says, as the whole world's coming down, it says, "I am Ara Maharaj. I am your higher self, and our link has been severed."
Whoa.
Yeah, and then I woke up.
That was the voice you heard?
Yeah, maybe not the
Holy.
proper accent, but yeah, I said,
That's what it said. That's what you heard.
I am Ara Maharaj, and I am your higher self, and our link has been severed. Yeah,
That's quite a statement. Holy moly. I
and
mean,
coming
damn.
back, it was it the figurine came. It reminds me of a Horus and
Mm.
the bird head, the falcon,
Yeah,
been
the eye
kind of
of Horus. Isn't that the one they
yeah,
that
the
is the
Egyptian.
third eye? The
And it's
pineal
often used
gland?
depicting that. It's often used in that way. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like what the pineal gland looks like from a side angle or something like that. Like if you were to cut it sideways or something.
Oh, there's all sorts of things people
Yeah.
make it anything out of anything just to make it feel more passionate, and it's great. It's all
Well,
believable.
yeah. I mean, I guess I wasn't trying to minimize it or explain anything. I just was trying to identify if that was it.
Well, I mean, if we were getting into it, Horus is actually the same entity as Hermes, and it's
Oh, whoa. That throws me for a loop right there.
doesn't.
That's amazing because the hermetic sciences and then like the hermit card in tarot, it's like that literally just put like 5,000 things together for me in my
Yeah,
brain,
so
like
that
with the one statement, which is what
that
you
symbolic
usually do
reference
anyway, Devin.
makes a little more sense to me as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Well, these are actually frequencies which we all derive, this characteristics and the archetypes that we have. I am mostly from the frequency of Hermes myself as I'm here. I just so it was
Oh
kind
my
of
God, that makes so much sense.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was always this as like parties and stuff. I'm running all over the place, running on walls and sharing messages. So,
Mm.
and I guess it does have something to do with the stick I carry around with me everywhere as well.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you are like the hermit card in tarot.
Oh, is the Hermit card depicting of Hermes?
I think so. I mean, it's like,
Mm.
well, what it means to me is, it's a dude with like a baston. What do you call it? A cane, and
Yeah,
he's carrying this lamp. He's like bringing the light,
let's see how
but
this works.
the hermit is usually when tarot readers look at the card, it's like the hermit is the one who retreats into the darkness to like receive the messages and then comes out with a little light and then like spreads the light.
Well,
And to
as
me that's what I
out the
think
cards here, and I
you
was
are
told
a lot like that
Hermit.
in a sense, in a way, in some ways. They say that the hermit card represents the sign of Virgo, but um obviously all the water cards are like, Pisces or whatever, but
Yeah, well, it's pretty cool. It's fun to think about and get into the characteristics, trying to understand everything. It's like we can understand each other by our definitions of different things and stuff. There's the Hermit card. He's an old man. But yes, I do relate to the Hermit card a lot, actually, and the Magician.
oh, the magician for sure. Yeah, for sure. But when you said that, I just like 800 things just bombarded my brain at the same time.
Like what? I mean,
Well, that and like the hermetic science and alchemy, it
so
being also related to the magician.
so all through time and all through existence, we've had the same frequencies over and over and over again.
Hmm.
Essentially, 13 frequencies that are just repeated over and over in different ways. So we go through these different societies building up to express them in different ways, and then
Mm.
break down to build up again and break down, build up, and different advancements and stuff. But we all derive from the same. It's the same thing with all planets and dimensions and everything from essentially the original source, which Christ consciousness, depicting itself through ideas of itself, and that was channeling the original energy of reality, say God, into its expression. So then the 12 begat 12 begat 12. I think it's somewhat complicated.
Okay, got it. And well, what I have a question. What do you think I represent? Like what sort of energy do I embody? Because you're talking about archetypes, right? What am I embodying at this point in my life?
Yeah, I mean, I can't say I necessarily have, as far as Devin is concerned, memorizing terms and words to understand these things and to express them in that way,
Mm.
I would have to actually develop these terms or look up some terms that I would categorize these things as. But I mean, I can see it, I can feel it.
Well, I know you can.
How
That's
do I
why I
know
was
what
asking.
it is? And you know it. And it is in that there's this mothering aspect and then this intellectual aspect, and I'm kind of seeing this playful thing when you like try and connect in extremely intellectual with the whole being sharing life with a child and stuff.
Mm.
And in that, as far as the depiction, I mean, like, really, I just know where I come from and what the Hermes is and the horse. As
It's
like astrology
no,
and
I like what you're saying. This is nice. I find that I mean the way I view myself is through the way others view me. So I love to hear what people have to say about me.
yeah,
It's even deeper. I like consciously understand. I'm very keenly aware of the fact that I see myself through the way other people look at me.
yeah. And it was, like the couple of years ago when we met, you were a little more analytical in the sense of organizing and having more of an organized spirit. And I think that's a default of yours where you want it lists made and you want it in a specific fashion. And recently, as far as even when we just started talking again for this program, you have definitely let go of lists a little bit more and loosened up a little more into that playful essence.
Yes, I agree. I
But
feel I
you're ready to take charge at any moment, that's for sure.
That's for sure. But I am fully embracing, okay, not fully embracing. I am very much enjoying the allowing mode, what I call the allowing mode and the flowing and the more divine feminine, like receiving aspect of things.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's something you've embraced more since the first time I met you when I was interviewing or in some interviews with your sister.
That's right. Yeah, and I was in a much different place then. I think I was in in life a very protective mode over
Yeah,
everything in my life. So I was in a very masculine sort of energy for sure.
and in order, I
Yeah.
think, as far as trying to describe what I see in you, the default of where you fall back in the protection has to do with a lot of organizing and keeping your things in specific order and way about this.
A little bit OCD can turn into OCD type stuff. Yeah.
It got extreme and you're doing
Mhm.
it for a while, but I think you do crave and desire that freedom of relaxing, letting things happen, and I think you've been a little bit more into that after the fact. So,
Hmm. That's interesting because I feel getting back to the dream world, um like as far as my dreams, I have had a lot more experiences with lucid dreaming since I've let go of the control
yeah,
aspect in my own life. My not the control, it's like my need, my like it's that addictive need for control, right? The like grasping at control that doesn't really exist, which I know intellectually it's not there, but when I'm in a stress mode, I guess I'll call
yeah,
it, I grasp for it.
yeah.
So I've had a lot more experiences with, like, I had that what was it called, remote viewing,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
then which was so cool, and I keep meaning to get a weighted blanket for that. Yeah.
Wonder how
So
hard it would be to make one. I guess it has to be, if you can't just have sand that goes through the fabric, depending on the fabric, so you need it.
Yeah.
Anyway, it wouldn't be. Don't make it. Just buy it.
They have, well, actually, my roommate just came home with like three of them for
Oh,
her and her two kids. And I was like, what? Because you know what's very interesting, Devin, as I've embraced the allowing and the flowing, the receiving, the divine feminine
sure.
watery energy, what I call watery energy, which I don't have a lot of in my astrological chart. It's all fire and air. It's all like "Rrr, go team go." That's my astrological chart. And so I think I've had to intellectually learn the allowing before I could actually embody it. But in any case, when I think, "Oh, I wonder where those blankets are," and then my roommate comes home with them.
Hmm.
Like, I don't actually have to do shit anymore. I just have to wonder. That's the key for my manifesting. It's like, "Oh, I wonder about that thing." And then the universe will be like, "Ding!" right there.
Yeah, when there's like less involved in the mind and you just, less attachment, less history, less, then it's just free to be, and that's essentially what this whole thing is that instant manifestation of the spiritual universe. And so the less history we have, the closer we are to that.
Hmm. Hmm.
The more history we have, the more physical confines we have, and so the longer the gestation of you manifesting, and so things take longer and are harder. And so you literally, less you have, you're actually coming over to the spiritual perspective, an eternal perspective of reality.
Fascinating. I had this really intense desire to get rid of everything last week. And I mean, like, I have a bunch of stuff in boxes because we've been moving around a few times in the last few years. And I have all kinds of things, and some things in my reality, whatever you can, want a quotation, quote unquote reality, um, that are popping up to remind me of all of the history that I had, which I don't feel any attachment to. Really, the more I think about it, the more I keep moving on. Like, it's something happened like a week ago that prior to maybe like 2015 would have literally like thrown me off a cliff.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, meh, it's
Mm,
all good. It's, but
okay.
that made me want to get rid of all of the little pieces that I still have that are like energetically holding on to that history. So, yeah.
Well, minimalizing is good. I mean, as far as physical things and getting less around you, it is good in a way, especially when you recognize everything represents something, or everything has an energetic value, and really, and that's definitely a step. Something I did before my travels. I was getting rid of everything. I had to live out of a bag, right?
Hmm.
And I was just throwing it all away, and uh, uh, something I recognize is that it's not just the energetic value it has, but the energetic value I maintain it to have.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's always
Exactly.
been consciousness and the application of consciousness. Like, you can have all sorts of things in, you go into somebody else's house and they don't mean anything to you. And so you actually have this much easier flow about it, and you're not connected to it, and it's a bigger space than it is for someone that has the connection to the products, to the things. So I think what I'm saying is that the letting go is more so with your mind and definition than it is the actual things. Even though it's good to let go of things, it's okay to hold on to things. It really doesn't matter. but the space is cleared by the recognition that your mind is clear.
That's right. Yeah. So what I ended up doing was I have actually this pretty big space that I have access to, and I spread it all out, and I put everything into different piles like keep, donate, trash,
Perfect.
and it all got sorted, and it's still in a very messy process, but it's totally fine because it's totally matching where my life is at right now, like with this one particular situation. So, what I need to do is take some action on actually putting the trash in the trash and the donation stuff at the Goodwill, and then I'm pretty sure the situation will resolve itself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
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 Cool.
Yeah. No, it felt really good. It always feels very freeing for me to like just throw it all out and start over, cuz I was just telling my friends I really love possibilities. I thrive in the world of possibilities where there is really no attachment. And I do really terrible in the world where there is a lot of attachment. Because that's where I go into like that stress control mode.
So, what does that mean about relationships? Because potential possibilities is always at the beginning, but then you get into
Yeah,
a relationship, you can't help but to start defining and confining a little bit.
that's true.
You're
Yeah, that's true. So I'm in this whole new experiment for myself, and I've been listening to Abraham Hicks a lot because I feel like it's on point with helping people without putting any labels on anything, really explaining how to go about it without attaching to the outcome.
yeah,
So, what I do now is I for sure have all kinds of really very grounded in my brain thought patterns. That's the way I'm going to say it. Habitual thought patterns that want me to put definitions on things, but I just, every time I start, because what I've noticed also in the whole allowing is my emotions are very available to me instantaneously, and I feel good or bad. Like I know, I'm going the wrong way here. So like, okay, check in what the hell is going on. Let's rethink this. So whenever I start going in the wrong direction, in my opinion, I check in. And with regards to relationships of any kind, like with my mom, with my daughter, with my sister, with my daughter's dad, like everyone in my life, I'm just like, okay, whoa, where am I at right this second with this situation, with this person, with this, and how can I be less attached to whatever I think that should look like?
yeah.
But it's definitely not an innate process for me right now. I feel like it's getting there, but
It's definitely. I
yeah.
mean, as far as what I've seen, it's like make sure that you have room for creative endeavors, and I mean, like a chance to be,
Yes.
keeping a sense of freshness about it. I know it's easy as far as looking at my life, especially when I've been really working a lot lately. It's easy to fall into routine. I
Mm.
just have to do this and do that, do this, do that, and have time for work and everything. And so it kind of sometimes falls at the wayside, but I just keep it and definitely keep expressing myself. But just the willingness to be somewhat fresh, like having that space, willing to do something different every few days or week or something, and doing that like with my wife and of course our kids, and not trying to insist that it needs to be the same way or a specific order, and just yeah, just being open to, you know, giving ideas. Yeah, we could do this, we could do that, and that, but then not concerned with what the choice is. Just allowing it to happen. It's great with the kids because I give them the options and all this stuff, and they're like, "What about this one? That one way over there? I didn't say." And like, we can't do that today. It's like more time for that and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's super fun with kids.
Yeah,
I think that has a lot to do with it too, for me, being able to really flow. I think my daughter is extremely flowy in that sense and obviously really connected to spirit and to the flow of life much more so than I was when she was born or for quite a few years after she was born. And allowing for her, in some sense, to guide the way in a lot of situations is super fun for me because I don't think for a long time she could tell that she was guiding.
yeah,
It's a different sort of leadership to guide from behind and not in a sense of like backseat driver situation.
yeah.
More of like, let's see where this is going, you
And
know?
just stay away from that danger over there. Okay, here you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a bumper car.
Yeah.
I remember talking a lot about it before I actually was a parent. Um, Playing with the idea, well, just allowing it and wanting to follow and trust the child and just going wherever. And now that I am, I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me? He just wants to run on the road. And like every time, and all these different things all over the place. I'm like, just stay where I can see you. And
Yeah, I think I give my daughter a lot of leeway. I think we're really lucky. We live in an amazingly beautiful, safe, fucking abundant, incredible situation. And we have so much freedom. Like I give her so much freedom to just do whatever. Whatever, basically whatever. It's it's a lot, but I think it's good because I think it's good for her to see what her own boundaries are early on and to really understand like where she's at because I'm not going to be there all the time, nor am I all the time there now.
yeah,
So it's important for me for her to develop that self confidence and strength and also independence.
I think
Yeah.
coming out of like my youngest is 2,
Hmm.
and so coming out of the whole baby thing, and he's been coming out of it for a while, but like seeing like just going to the mall and stuff like that. There's a big play area in the mall, and it's great. And I definitely am recognizing I've built up somewhat of a, I guess a I guess a social anxiety because I have to just keep track of him all the time from going different directions. I don't know if I'd call it social, just that it's always, I have to be on my toes, and it's pretty
Mm-hmm.
interesting, especially with 2, that I can't necessarily follow one when the other one's going a different direction. So it's a whole nother ball game of uh, lessons to learn and forgiveness and processing, and it's pretty amazing to see it, how, like, what has been coming out of me, even mentioning that maternal instincts, like it's different than I thought it was. And it's like you can't really learn this stuff until you're actually doing it. I mean, I used to babysit my nieces and nephews all the time, and it's really had, that's nothing. That's nothing compared to actually having kids. It's pretty amazing.
It is incredible. Yeah, I definitely always had a maternal instinct. I mean, when we were little, I was the oldest, so I was always in charge. Like I was left in charge on purpose. Like, okay, you watch the other two, like so I had some interestingly weird dysfunctional maternal instinct as a kid, but or grew out of dysfunction. But once Julia came along, it was like I think and what's interesting is I'm pretty sure, and I only have one kid, but I think each kid, maybe it's just me, maybe it's just because of the way I do things, but that each kid makes the parent be a little different. Like, I think the co creation creates a slightly different dynamic with each kid.
Yeah, you have to adjust and mold a little bit
Yeah.
reactions and how they're working with each other and everything. And in the same way, you're somewhat forcing them to mold to you and
Hmm.
to keep them safe. And you can't always keep eat candy all the time and all. No matter what in the world and in the early stages, we came here to learn limitation. And as much as I want to say, oh, I want to teach my kids how to be completely free and completely spiritual and aware, in my awakening, it came to my realization that no, at the early on, I came to learn all the limitations, and that means skills and abilities of the world. And then I wanted to learn the way out of them. But at first, I wanted to learn the limitations, and I see it happening with my kids. No matter what, just to keep them safe, I'm teaching them limitations. I'm teaching them like struggles and hardships without even trying. It just their interpretation of it. It just naturally happens. As much as I can, intellectually and attempt to emotionally teach them about freedom and spirituality and liberation. It's all responsibility and so on. It's they're going to interpret it in their own fashion, and their purpose right now is to learn of the world, learn of separation, and
Mm.
then when they're ready, I'll always be here, ready to teach them out of it. And in the same
They
sense, as
can,
ready to teach them out of it.
yeah.
Yeah. Unless I'm conformed to back into the world with them or something. Like, oh, I forgot all about that.
I mean, we.
That's why I'm making my courses. Yeah, it's really for them.
Mm. That's fascinating. That's very interesting because I think about everything that I do is for my daughter. It's definitely for me, but it's for
Yeah,
my daughter because it's not. If she wasn't here, I wouldn't probably be doing most of it. And definitely not in the way that I'm doing it.
yeah. I definitely wouldn't be watching the YouTube shows I watch. Jeez.
Oh man, for real.
There's color. Oh, gummy Gus thing. Oh,
Oh my god, yeah. Some of that stuff, man. But they love it. I
yeah.
don't know, it brings so much joy to their life. Ah, and I guess that's the important thing. At least that's what I think it is the joy
And that's something,
they
like
express.
he finds a new show every now and then, and he's cracking up. It's so funny. And then like I'm aware and attempting to be aware a little bit more all the time of how much is he really enjoying this show still. And like I think we need to start looking around for something new
Hmm.
because he's not laughing as much to it, and it's like makes this habit. Oh, I need to watch this show because I love it. Oh, it's not funny anymore, but he doesn't really know it yet. And
Hmm.
you're learning from it. You're learning from everything. And when something's not fun anymore, unless it's somehow creative and expressive, uh, I really would rather him learn. Speaking of Atreyu, to move on to the next. There's something
Yes.
more joyous in life, and
Hmm.
as much as not everything's going to be fun. It's true, but the inspirations through that joy, like things are funny really because we're learning and growing and expanding, and
Hmm.
in that
Hmm.
way. So, like that's why uncomfortable things tend to be funny in that way.
That is so hilarious because when I was freezing my balls off running in the snow in Minneapolis on Sunday, and the only reason I was running was because I thought if I don't run back to the car, I'm not going to make it back to the car because it was that cold. I was all alone.
I don't want to move.
My friend had run and he was like going to make a loop. He was crossing the bridge over the Mississippi, going around, coming back around, and he was like, "Well, just start walking that way and I'll go this way and come back, whatever, some kind of idea." I was like, I don't even know. It's so cold. I can't even. Okay, I'm gonna go this way. Okay, so I just went right, and I'm crossing, and it's beautiful, right? But it was like 15 and snowing. It was humid. It was freaking cold, and I'm not used to that kind of cold. And I'm doing this, and I started jogging, and then like I started feeling a little less frozen. My legs were numb, so it wasn't that bad because I couldn't feel my legs. But I started cracking up. It was the funniest situation I have ever been in. Like, it was so much fun. I couldn't breathe because it was so cold. My nose literally, like, did this bodily reaction where, like, my nostrils, it was like I had mucus, but I had no mucus. It stopped taking in air through my nose. So I could only breathe through my mouth. And as I'm running, breathing through my mouth, my eyes are like teary. I can't even feel my cheeks or my chin. And I'm just laughing, just seeing the beauty of life. And it was just amazing. It was the coolest experience. And
That's
I
good.
was so proud of myself for like manifesting that because I hadn't done something cool like that in a really long time.
That's good. That's good. I'm
But the laughing
cold,
because
but
we're
like, oh,
growing, the laughing because we're growing, and I felt the expansion of my inner being in that moment, and it was so enjoyable, despite the gnarliness that my body was experiencing. Yeah.
yeah,
So I
good.
was like, why?
Oh, cool.
Oh, oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you
It's
for being here with me today.
yes.
It's been
Thank you.
we were going to talk about the moon travel stuff. Huh?
Yes. Let's mention that.
There's the moon and the travel stuff like that.
So
So.
we did. We just had a full moon and it was in Taurus, which was kind of intense. I actually broadcast on Sunday afternoon. Oh,
Oh,
yeah, you were there.
snapped in for a bit, yeah, before the
That's
kids
right.
arrived.
Yeah. By then, I was already like on the couch watching football, about to watch football. And we like to meet at Stonehenge on the full moons, and I fully intend to keep doing that. I haven't actually been trying the new moon thing that I said I would start. I did it for like a couple new moons and then I stopped to like actively try to do some astral projection on those days.
Yeah, we need to, crack down, put some actual effort into it today. I personally, like, as far as the moon thing is, I feel like it's the strongest the day before and the day after. Not so much actually the day of. I don't know why.
Mhm.
It's just
Well, it was actually mostly yesterday, the moon. So I think today and tomorrow will be good days to do this.
let's get rid of Stonehenge at least this time,
Okay.
and let's do the color pink.
Ooh.
I think it's the last detail, and we could just
Okay.
focus on the color pink. and meet there. And let's say an orb of pink. Are
An
we in the
orb
orb
of
or around
pink.
the orb?
I don't know. I think just try to get to the orb.
Let's go around the orb, like
Okay.
circling the orb.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, that's fun.
Color pink orb, a pink orb.
Oh my gosh.
Moving. This is a little easier to actually think of and to imagine and maintain, opposed to like Stonehenge. You need to like walk around the detail of it,
Yes.
trying to get the location. There's no real location of the color pink. It's everywhere. Let's do that.
I think I
Yeah.
like that better. I mean, I think it's cool. I think it might be easier for everyone else out there as well. Just there's less attachment to this orb. It's more of like, okay, the orb, what else? Because it's so abstract.
Yeah.
So
And it
it'll,
doesn't matter when you're listening as well. If you're listening in the future, we have the moon power here. All right. So
that's right.
timelessness. You can do it anytime. Try it out. Just try it out when you're going to bed. Just meditate a little bit, relax a little bit, and think about yourself floating around a nice little pink orb with us. Maybe we're all holding hands. You don't have to look at us. Just holding hands, floating around this orb. Just focus on the pink, beautiful orb. I have some pretty good meditations available too on the speaker page. They're actually pretty popular for some reason. Getting several thousand downloads in a week or so. So
They're very popular. I was looking at all your stuff.
yeah, don't know how that happened.
Just putting it out there, and the
This thing's
universe takes care of
very
the
popular.
rest.
Bigger.
The moon power.
I have the power of the moon. Wait, what's that Sailor Moon thing? And I've come to. I don't remember. My sister watched it. Did you ever watch Sailor Moon?
No, I did not.
Come from different worlds. Okay.
All right. So we shall see you at the pink orb.
I'm setting an alarm to remind myself in
Yes.
20 minutes.
Yes.
Pink orb.
Awesome, guys. Thank you.
25, 26 minutes. Have a beautiful night, everyone. And you, Chandra Sangat, thank
Thank,
you.
thank you, Devin.